So I was in the middle of doing a video that I'm going to combine with this video. It's going to be around the end. But I said, you know what? I've been saying I was going to do this for a minute. Let me actually give it to you now. I'm going to go over a part of how my mind works. This is unique to me. The types of white women that mess with black guys. We're going to do that. So let me give you the breakdown on how I categorize them. And I came up with this theory around the time all these rappers were hot. So this is probably like 10 years old or somewhere in that ballpark. But the three types of white chicks that mess with black dudes, I categorize them three ways: MGK fans, Kevin Gates fans, Drake fans. Now, if you listen to them, you already know that their music is drastically different. If you look at them as characters, you know that they are drastically different. If you know how they conduct themselves in interviews and stuff like that, none of them are the same. And also, for the last thing, if you just physically look at them right now on the screen, they are three extremely different types of individuals. There are different types of individuals. Now, I'm going to break this down real quick, but let me give you an updated version with more relevant and newer artists that a lot of you older people are not going to know, but we'll do it anyway. If you're messing with a chick that's younger, it would be Post Malone fans, NBA YoungBoy fans, and the Weekend fans. That's what it would be. So you may ask or you may wonder why these three different categories. This is why. Because throughout the time of me either knowing white chicks or messing with white chicks, XYZ, I began to notice different things, and I began to, okay, you lean more towards this, you lean more towards that. And my brain works in a unique way. So I started to associate the music with certain types of white chicks. So let me break it down for you like this very quickly. When you look at the MGK Post Malone category, those are like Vans Warped Tour chicks, like chicks who like rock music and shit like that, et cetera, et cetera. But I would just pretty much put it as like trailer park or country chicks and things of that nature. They're not going to be upper middle class or anything like that, but they're also not in the hood. They're not around an abundance of black people. They're not in the black community. They are in white poverty more than likely. Now, when you look at the NBA YoungBoy category or the Kevin Gates category, these are going to be chicks who are around black people, chicks who are in the hood, et cetera, et cetera. We'll unpack this more once we go through them. But the Drake type, I'm going to get to that first. We're going to unpack that first, the Drake and the Weekend type. Now, when we talk about the Drake and Weekend type chick, what she is more than likely going to come from a two-parent household, good family, middle upper class or middle class bare minimum, or even upper class. And this is the thing, was never really around black dudes or black people her whole life. She is not going to have two black female friends. You're lucky if she has even one. You know, all her friends are going to be white. Her whole experience is white. Now, she is very polished because she comes from, that whole, like, suburban community type shit. But as far as the characteristics of her, like just the character of her, this is what it is. Being that she has never really been around black people, the fact that she is taking an interest in black men is very peculiar. And it's typically coming out of some place like a curiosity or a fascination, or as some black women love to put it, like a fetishization, or I can't say the fucking word, a fetish. We'll just say that. It's coming from a fetish. And these are the chicks that, when I had my Dangers of White Women video, these are like the main culprits and the main ones that you got to watch out for, because they don't have experiences with black people. They're not used to black culture, and they may not even like black people. It's a dice roll when it comes to that. But being that they have never been around people, don't know black culture, don't have black experience and stuff like that, and plus they're upper class and all that stuff, like, they are not only gonna not want to be around all that shit, they're not gonna want to be around no niggas, they're not gonna want to be around no nigga events, etc., etc. But when it comes down to y'all relating, if you are a regular black guy, like, it's gonna be tough for y'all to relate. You're gonna notice there's gonna be kind of a disconnect, and the only thing that's really gonna be the magnetic force that's gonna bring y'all together is sex. That's it. So it's typically not gonna be any real substance there. And this is when we get into, in the other part of the video where I'm gonna touch on the types of guys, this is when you get into the alternative niggas, because or just the open enrollment niggas, et cetera, to where those guys, they may come from the hood, but they subscribe to a different type of culture. They dress different, they act different, their friends are white, et cetera, and they can really relate to white people. So it's as far as like not just white people as a general monolith, but I'm talking about upper class or middle upper class suburban white people. They can relate to all of that, and they, can relate with the chick, et cetera, et cetera. But when you look at it, you've seen some of the pictures on the screen. These chicks are typically very polished. They are very fucking yoga classish, and they don't really have tattoos for real. If they do, it's little cute shit. They don't go crazy with the tattoos, which is going to bring us to our next joint. But before I do that, remember, Drake is like a mulatto dude, so he's mixed. And he gets good haircuts and all that shit. He has like a fade with some waves and stuff like that. So no crazy hair, nothing like that. And he just is a regular guy. He's just a regular guy. So we're just gonna leave that there. It's nothing like too crazy about the character of Drake to where you look like, oh, he's a super thug, or oh, he's this or that. Like, no, he's just a regular guy. So typically a lot of the guys that these chicks are gonna mess with, they're not gonna have anything extravagant going on. They're gonna be regular black guys. Now, you'll see in the other end of the video and stuff like that, I'm gonna mention, like, the athletes and all that. Like, typically they're gonna be, and this is the type of dude, if you're young, you see these types of chicks with like the high school quarterback or something like that, if he's black, or like the high school running back, whatever he is, high school football player. And if they get out of school and stuff like that, the dude is probably still jacked or some other shit, man. Now we're going to go over the MGK fan or Post Malone fan type chicks. And again, these are chicks that are probably from rural areas, more than likely just middle class or lower, possibly even lower class and things like that. And these areas that they live in and come from still don't have a lot of black people. There may be a token here and there, but really don't have a lot of black people. This is the other thing that I want to note. When you see these chicks come across the screen, you may think these chicks don't look like they fuck with niggas. And that's the thing. They don't. They don't. These types of chicks in the MGK category, you remember MGK is white. They typically don't go for black dudes. They typically don't. But due to something or some type of circumstance, it's more than likely going to be, okay, this is a very alternative black dude. Like, he's into tattoos and fucking goth music and all of that shit, and just like whatever. Like, he's into their culture very heavy, and he's in their environment very heavy. So typically that's what's going to lead to that, and he's going to be a token, more than likely. Now, when you look, or it might be an open enrollment situation where, okay, now we got these black kids coming into our community to go to our school because their parents want them to escape the urban area and all that shit, and it's a better education out here. And they just so happen to take a liking to each other when they're in school or whatever, and that's how she gets into black guys or whatever the fucking case may be. But listen, I already went over the music and stuff like that, the aesthetic that these chicks have. They may wear cowboy hats, they may not. They may wear fucking Seven Fox racing shirts. They may not. They may drink Red Bull. They may not. But the one thing that is going to be there is two things. Two things. You are going to see them wearing Vans shoes at some point. They're going to be wearing Vans at some point. Everybody doesn't wear Vans. Most people nowadays do not wear Vans. So that is something that is reserved for a select class of people. Just a select group of people. Now, when you get past that, the other thing that you have noticed by now, they're going to have tattoos, more than likely gauges and shit like that. They're going to have way more tattoos than either one of these demographics in most cases. They may even have a face tattoo or something like that. You know, they may have that going on. Now, the same thing is still possible with these chicks as far as like, you know, the Drake fan chicks, like, you know, being that they're not around black people and black culture, it's possible for some racism to come out. It's possible for some racism to come out. It's something you could possibly see, et cetera, et cetera. But they are not really acclimated to dealing with black people. In the last category, which is my favorite category that we're going to go over, it is the Kevin Gates fans. It is the Kevin Gates fans. And what the Kevin Gates fans represent, or also NBA YoungBoy, they represent an extreme. They represent an extreme. This extreme is white hood rats. So let me break it down. These chicks have grown up, in most cases, in the hood. In some cases, they don't grow up in the hood. They grow up in a white area, and this is what happens. They're around white people their whole life. Everything is cool, but they love this rap music and shit. And for whatever reason, they want two things. They want drugs and black cock. So what do? They find somebody that sells some good gas or whatever, and whatever happens, they start hanging around a trap. They start being in the community. They start fucking with not niggas, not alternative niggas, not open enrollment niggas, but niggas that are actually in the urban communities right now. They start dibbling that they might even move into those urban communities as somebody who didn't come from none of that. Shit, I knew a chick who had niggas shooting out over her, bruh. And she wasn't from none of that. And dudes was having shootouts over her and shit. So it's like, that's what happens. So, boom, we get all that out the way. These chicks not only be in the hood, sometimes not only from the hood, but they are hood rats. I'm not even going to go in depth on what a hood rat is. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. The main difference, and this is why you won't really see racism from the chicks in this class. The main thing that separates them from the other chicks is that they are in and just immersed in black culture. They have a lot of black female friends, not one, not two, but a few. You know, they know how to twerk real good. So I already went over the cooking and stuff like that. You know, they know how to freak a black and mild, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But this is why I say they are an extreme. The reason they are an extreme is because these chicks typically like trappers. They like drug dealers. They like getting money dudes. They like scammers. They like criminals. That's typically what they like. Now, just because they like that, that doesn't mean that they won't fuck with like a regular urban dude or nothing like that. But they only fucking with black guys from the hood, et cetera, et cetera. That's how it's going. They only fucking with black guys from the hood. These be the chicks you see in jail taking drug charges because they got pulled over with the weight. You know, they just be ending up in all types of weird situations because they want to fuck with the wrong dudes. Now, this is my least favorite because just when it comes to white rats, these is the type of chicks that'll set you up and stuff like that. It's possible, but even then, they could just come with so many problems depending on what they got going on. So none of the categories, it's ironic, none of the categories are really good. They all come with their risks. But I'm going to give a bonus category that I've never identified, but I'm going to just flip it right now. The category that I'm going to put, as far as a new category I never thought of, I just thought of it at this moment, is the Erykah Badu, if we're going old, or the Janae Aiko, if we're going new category. And what that is basically an in-between on You know, the Vans Warped Tour fucking MGK chicks and the Kevin Gates. You know, it's an in-between on those two. Because again, they may or may not come from the hood, or they may. But these are the chicks who be meditating. These are the chicks who be lighting their candles and incense and stuff like that. These are the chicks who will be on a civil rights vibe, and they stand up for black men and stuff like that. And they like black dudes, but they like urban black dudes. They don't like criminals, though. They not trying to really fuck with no criminals. And they are just peaceful, very peaceful. And I'm not going deeper than that, but when you look at that, those are the main three categories, and I just threw in this fourth as a bonus. But listen, man, let me know your thoughts. I'm gonna stitch in another video where I basically found an account with white women and black men. It was a dating Instagram account, and I react to it. And I talk about different types of black dudes and stuff like that, but it's mostly just clowning and stuff like that. So that's what's gonna be from this point on in the video. Let me know your thoughts about my breakdown, though. I'm out. White women, black men in love is the name of the account. They have a quarterback and a cheerleader as a fucking profile picture. Now, when you look at a nigga like this, I'm gonna just keep it real. A lot of what you're gonna see is three things when you look at these pictures. I'm gonna tell you the three types of niggas that an abundance of white chicks like, as far as like black dudes. What they like is alternative black dudes, which means people who don't really fall into the urban category and follow a lot of the urban trends and just look urban. But you're also gonna see a bunch of niggas like this, like beefcake ass, athlete, quarterback ass niggas. So those are going to be the main two types that you see: alternative niggas and quarterback niggas. And outside of that, what I call both of them, especially when we get to these younger people, like what you see right here, even though there's probably some dorm shit. But when you get to these younger people, I call them open enrollment niggas. Let me break that down. When you have a city, right, and then you have the towns on the outskirts don't be wanting no black people in their schools. So you got to live in a town, and you got to have an address here to come to the school. And they'll do all types of stipulations, and they do this around the nation. They'll do stuff like, oh man, you a good athlete, but you from the city. Listen, we gonna take you out your mom's house, put you in this white people house. Like, what is that Sandra Bullock white savior movie, the good side, or what, the blind side or whatever? Like, they'll do some shit like that where they just take you in and you eating, the white lady's good pancakes every morning and stuff like that. They send you to school to be a great nigga quarterback, a great nigga linebacker, and fucking shake the shit out of people for that white school where you don't see no niggas, because they don't want no niggas in the school unless you balling on some athlete shit. Now look at this nigga right here. This is a alternative nigga. He does not look like a hood nigga. He don't look like he from any urban area. Like, he got the seashells around his neck and shit like that. Like, you could just tell. And listen, if you're an alternative nigga, it's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, when you look at this is what you're going to see a lot of. Now, this is the other type. The third type is mulatto. Mulatto, meaning you're mixed with black and white. If you're mixed with black and white, you are also going to be like, somebody that's going to be more in touch with white. What do we have here? Another athlete. But you're going to be more in touch with white people because you have a white parent. So it's going to be easier for you to get with a white guy or a white girl, depending on your gender. So that is what you're going to see. You're going to see, like, this is like an alternative athlete nigga right here. I don't even want to say that. This is just an athlete nigga for, well, yeah, he's alternative. Yeah, he's all that. But that's a mulatto. That is a mulatto. So we could do this all day. Now, I want you to understand, when it comes to this, I do not have a problem with any of this as far as like them being together and nothing like that. So that's not what this is or nothing like that. But these are like some things that are in my head that I'm just sharing with you as far as how I look at the world and the types of niggas that white chicks typically go to, or the types of black people that white chicks typically go to. Like, this right here is a friendly mulatto. Like, just most swell guy. Like, he is just great. Now, this is another thing I'm gonna touch on, man. A reason a lot of them love like the beefcake athlete dudes is not just because of their status, not just because of their potential future in athletics if they have one, not just because they're popular and things like that. That's a video I'm gonna react to on another video. But they love them on some fetishizing. I can't say the word fetishizing. You know, black chicks love to say it, but it's some truth to it. They fetishize the black man. You know, they the mandingo, all this stuff. Ooh, they got big cocks, big BBCs and stuff like that. They want that shit. Now, as a guy that messes with white women and stuff like that, you know, I'm not complaining, but like I touched on in my Dangers of White Women video, that type of connection is only good for short-term relations. If you turn it into some long-term shit, that's how you have a mixed kid that she ends up calling a naker. But when you look at this cat, he looks like he could be urban, and that's some open enrollment shit right there. Like, when you actually get the urban kid, like, he is actually urban, and you ship him off, and he's actually hood or whatever, like, but he's still in that white school, like, yeah, some of that. And I'll be honest, in some cases, they don't be athletes. They just be cats who got into the school because of open enrollment or whatever, that enrollment bus open, you know, and now everybody can go to that school. So you start having more black kids at these white schools and stuff like that. But yeah, it's funny to me that a whole account would be dedicated to this. To me, is comical. But, you know, you also see accounts dedicated to black love, and it's like, I'm just wondering, like, do they have pages for other demographics? Like, do they have the Asian love page out there? Do they have the Asians with white guys, or the Asian, like, I don't know, man, because I don't be digging for shit like this. But when you black, seeing this type of shit is so common because, like, people put, like, certain niggas, certain black men put white women on a pedestal. If it ain't snowing, I ain't going. Snow Bunny Olympics, all this shit, all niggas, it's the Winter Olympics, let's go skiing, we skiing, like, all that shit. But listen, I just wanted to run it back one more time so I could go over this cat right here, bro. This is like, I don't, he could be like a basketball player, but if you look at Buddy Nails, like, this is a super alternative nigga, like, just from the dressing to, like, bro, like, just everything that I mentioned, he pretty much is, bro. Like, he just everything, bro. From the way he dressed to the painted fingernails and all that, like, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy.